of birds racist roots. And because of that, about 80 bird species will soon be renamed. I want to welcome now to the show Emily Williams. She's an avian ecologist and researcher. Emily, thank you for joining us to explain. Will you give us some of the examples of bird names that will be changed and why those names are problematic?
Yeah, so an example of one of the birds that's going to be changed is the Townsend's warbler. There's also the Townsend solitaire, which is named after John Townsend. And why this name is especially problematic is Townsend is known to have robbed the graves of Native Americans in the hopes of using their skulls to basically prove why Native Americans were inferior. Another example is Bachman's sparrow, which is named after John Bachman, who was known to buy and sell people.
And we've seen this kind of trend with renaming, taking down statues, with schools, teams, all that stuff. But the renaming effort here with the birds has also, with a lot of the other efforts, seen pushback online. Will you give your response to the critics who think this might be unnecessary?
Well, certainly one could argue that there is some amount of the population where the impact of these changes is minimal. But there's a larger population of people in which these names are symbolic of racism, of colonial roots, and that's a much larger negative impact to these people. And that shouldn't be part of the equation when they're just trying to be out enjoying birds.
And especially because birds, we've seen their population decline. In less than the last 50 years, the bird population here in North America has declined by about 29%, so almost by a third. Do you think this effort to rename bird species can help with public interest and possibly with conservation?
I certainly hope so. I am really glad that this change has garnered so much attention, so much press. And so the hope is that this basically brings birds on a larger national platform. And, names and language has a lot of power. And so how we name birds, how we refer to them, obviously affects how we engage with them, public policy, and their conservation. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here that this change will bring about a lot more discussion about birds and how we can conserve them.
Words certainly do matter, and we've seen that time and time again, and this is just the next step in making things more equitable and more enjoyable for more people, as you said. And the fun thing here, the public can get involved in making these renaming changes. Will you explain how people can do that?
Yeah, so the American Ornithological Society is garnering public opinion and input with changing the names. So I'm really happy to see that they're trying to make this way more inclusive and involve the community as much as they can.
A little slice of positivity for our Sunday. Emily Williams, thank you so much for joining us this morning.